Hey, what's up, everybody? TJ, BHUEP here. I'm a pastor in Wyoming, and I make videos about the Bible, Bibles, my everyday life as a pastor, and tools and resources to help you on your journey in your Christian walk. Today, we begin a string of reviews. We have 3 Bible reviews coming up, specifically from the Lifeway sale. I did an unboxing video where I shared the 3 Bibles that I got from that sale. I'll put that up here. If you haven't seen that one, please go check it out. I was excited. But today we are going to go over the first Bible in that. So let's jump into the video. If you haven't seen, Holman, over the course of about a month, has had this amazing Bible sale where you can get study Bibles and different devotional Bibles and even just like thin line Bibles for really, 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 really cheap. I encourage you to take advantage of that. I got 3 Bibles and spent a total of $46, which really in reality is less than I would spend on one of those Bibles. The one we're going to talk about today is the cheapest out of the 3, and that is the Men of Character Study Bible. Well, the Men of Character Bible. It's not a study Bible. But real quick, just so you can see the top of it, it comes with this dust jacket. I got the hardcover gray cloth overboard, which we'll talk about in a second. It does come with this dust jacket, and obviously they know who they were marketing to. They're marketing towards men, and who doesn't like a great, foggy, like woodscape scene. There's also little gold here in the embossing. Now, normally it has a Gene A. Getz on there. Normally, I'm not a huge fan of names being on the Bible, but we'll talk about that a little more. Here's the back to include those special features if you want to look at those. But let's jump into a tabletop and look at this Bible. Now, real quick, it has no art gilt, or gild at all. It is just white page edges. I almost equate hardcover Bibles, especially with the dust jackets on them, to like textbooks. But anyways, let's get into the contents. Now, one of the things, again, that I am not a huge fan of is dust jackets. I feel like the dust jacket really makes this look like a textbook. I have left this on specifically for y'all, so we're going to take that off. But first, let's give you another look at those special features. So you're going to have articles on men of character. You're going to have 45 biblical profiles focused on character principles, 14 measure of a man articles focused on specific character traits, 122 verses to remember. We'll make sure to catch at least one of those so that you can see what that looks like. There's introductions, there's Bible reading plans, application questions, and key life principles. And then here's all the good stuff that you get. Retails for $39.99. Again, whenever we say that, that's what it says on the back here. But obviously, there can be tons of sales, and like for instance, I got it for $7. So let's take off the dust jacket because that is going to go to my office. Real quick, I want to show you on the inside. You have some interesting thing. Again, you're going to have features on the inside. And you're also going to have, then he said to me, these words are faithful and true. But that's a dust jacket. This is that gray cloth overboard. On the spine, like a lot of CSBs, you're going to have Holman, Christian Standard Bible, the type of Bible it is, and the CSB logo up top. Not going to be anything on the back of this Bible. And then you have that little Men of Character Study Bible imprint. So it's a beautiful cloth overboard. I really like it. It is a construction paper paste down liner that goes into that cover sheet. You have your presentation page, title page, followed by a little thing about Dr. Gene Getz there. Another title page. Again, they know who they are marketing to, right? You got that manly wood scene in there. Here's that copyright information. You got Men of Character Bible 2021. It's using a 2020 CSB text. And you get in brown genuine leather, and then brown black leather touch, this one. And then for most of them, you can also get them indexed. You have a table of contents. Then you have the book of the Bible, features, and the set table of contents. acknowledgments, the Men of Character Bible introduction, which gives you what each thing is going to be, right? Why he wrote it, what this is, men of character. Now, I think it's important as men that we look into what being a man really looks like, whether father or whatever. A lot of study or devotional Bibles are going to have these pages right here, the features of the Bible, and then kind of so to line up like one men of character articles. Here it is, and then shows you the rest. Pretty good stuff. And then you're going to have an introduction to the Christian Standard Bible. If you've never been a part or read the Christian Standard Bible at all, this is something I encourage you to read. It's a really good portion. The Old Testament, and then we get into the opening. So this is Genesis, and this is what all of your book introduction is going to look like. So you're going to have circumstance of the writing, how it contributes, the structure. You're going to have an outline, a reading plan for that book, and then you're going to have a timeline here of kind of what you're looking at and when, what's going on, where you're at. This is helpful as you just study the Bible. It is a study resource, and it's kind of giving you it is giving you a direct timeline and then shows you kind of where we're at. Going into the actual text layout, it is a 2-column paragraph format, and the chapters have these really cool kind of like greenish blue, kind of greenish blue. So it'd be a lot like this color, kind of that green that you see throughout thematically. It's right there. It looks really good. It's also that way down here in the footnotes and up here in the cross references. So it is a side column reference Bible. The references are in the side columns. It's super nice. The layout is great. The paper leaves a little to be desired, but it's not terrible. We'll get into that a little more. But you have the double column, side column reference layout. You have footnotes at the bottom, and then you will come to these articles. So here's one of those like men of character or character profiles. This is one of Adam. Gives him, the art master of the blame game, and then kind of runs through who he is and all that good stuff. So moving on. This is what I'm saying, though, right here. So it's not a bad paper. It is a little thin, but really there's not a ton of ghosting or see-through on the other side. It's super readable. The font is big enough, is large enough, and dark enough for it to be easy to read. But, I mean, it's, again, you're not paying premium prices, right? But, man, I tell you what, it's a really nice paper with your Smithsonian binding. Let's get over to the poetical books. I'm trying to find the ribbon, but here we go. So you are going to have 2 ribbons, and we'll pull them out right now. I always wait to do that till I'm with you guys at the review, just because. Yeah. So here's one of those men of character. So instead of the character profiles, this is true friendship, what that looks like. They got to use David and Jonathan, and it kind of gives you what that looks like, right? So great articles. And then at the end of all these articles, it gives you room for notes at the end of it. So you're going to get a gray ribbon. Nothing too fancy on the ribbon. It is double-sided, but they're thin, but they're a decent length. So that's good. All right, now let's finish getting to those books of poetry. Here we go. So your poetic layout looks a little different. So you're going to have a verse by verse on the poetic layout, which I've said before in a lot of videos. I think that's a really cool thing to go from a paragraph layout to then a verse by verse. It just changes up the poetic nature and lets you know what you're reading. So poetry is going to look like poetry, and that's awesome. Right here in this section is the verse to remember. So Psalm chapter 9, verse 10, it says, "Those who know your name trust in you because you have not abandoned those who seek you, Lord." And then it goes again here. So it gives you a verse to remember through that. Those are really cool. They're already highlighted for you, so it sticks out on the page and you can focus on it. Let's skip over here. So I think this is interesting. So you have Malachi, right? Sorry about that. I keep bumping that. This is interesting. So you have Malachi, and then right just as we get to the end, you get John the Baptist, a character breakdown of who he is right before you enter into the New Testament. So then you're going to enter in. Here's your gold ribbon right here. So like I said, two of them, one for the old, one for the new. Here's your Matthew. No intertestamental history, but see, here we go. From Abraham to where we are today, you got from Abraham to David, from David to the Babylonian exile, from the exile to the Messiah, and then the Messiah on. You're going to find about character, about Joseph honoring God. And again, they know who they're marketing to, right? And so it's a very marketed Bible. I think personally these side column references are really, really cool. Plus, where there's not a ton of cross-referencing, or even where there is, it gives you a little space on the edge for notes. You guys know I love me some notes. It is a black letter text, so it's not going to be red letter, which again, if you know my preference, black letter is my preference, but it is going to have that awesome CSB bolding where it is quoting from the Old Testament, and then it'll give you your H here, and you can go here to H, and you can go to Amos and look for it for yourself. What I do is almost add to that, and I bring this cross reference always to these, and then I go back to where it is in the Old Testament and mark it off so that when I'm reading the next time through, I know where it's referencing in the New Testament. Something that helps me. All right, let's get to the end of Revelation. So after Revelation 22:21, you're going to go into the normal CSB concordance. It's not a bad concordance. In this Bible that I would classify as more devotional based rather than study Bible, I don't have a problem saying that a concordance is a good thing for this Bible for a couple of reasons. One, man, I think that we should be studying our word. We should be going first in our homes. We should be in our word as often as possible. Now, I'm going to tell you every day because I understand it's hard, but to have a concordance for us to study words is important. Understanding what the words are, where to find them. You can even use this to do a family study on strength or what is what is sanctification, all that kind of stuff, and use it to study with your family. Then after your concordance, you have a few pages of extra Bible paper for notes. 1, 2, 3, 4 double-sided. So 4, so you get 8. This is a really cool thing. You can do a lot with this. First off, you can do word studies in here, or you can take some notes. You can make a mild miscellaneous type thing, or whatever you want to do in the back of your Bible. That is up to you. But cool that they add that. That's an added feature. You don't see that in every Bible, so that's cool. And then after that paper, you're just going to have your normal CSB maps, which are on a cardstock paper. A great look. The colors pop. They look really good, but they are maps. So then after that, you are at the end of your Men of Character Bible. Whenever I watch a Bible review, one of the questions that I always ask in my mind is, who is that Bible for? Who is the Men of Character Bible for? First, it's pretty easy. It's obviously for men. But I would say that this is going to be a good Bible for really anybody. I'm not going to tell you to preach from this. You definitely could. The font's big enough. The layout is good enough to preach from. And I think if you preach from a hardcover Bible, this specific one might be great for you. But the reason that I would say I'm not going to recommend that it become your preaching Bible is all the extra articles. I've shared before, maybe it's just me. If it's not you, then ignore this part and just go ahead and say, but the extra articles and stuff oftentimes, or even sometimes the book introductions, but can be very distracting to me. So as I'm reading or looking for my next text, like say I'm going from, Nehemiah chapter 2 to chapter 3, I'm going to have to skip again during my sermon, and in this specific instance, through 2 Men of Character studies to get to chapter 3, and that's just kind of rough for me. But if you're a man who wants to dig into the Word, and you want something that looks good, but you're comfortable reading, that has a comfortable font for you to read, this is a great portion. If you're a young man coming out of high school, or you know a young man, I know that we just had graduation season here. This is a great Bible for a young man to help him study what being a man is going to look like. I think in the church, one of the things that we have really fallen short on is teaching the younger men how to be men and what that looks like. And I'm not talking about like, oh, I take my son hunting and fishing and I taught him how to rope. Listen, I get it, man. I grew up around ranchers. I love it. But there's so much more to being a man than that. And this is going to help your son or the young man that you mentor have some tips and tricks on how to develop good Christian character, good man character, if you will, while having a great layout with cross references to study something that's not overly devotional, but is good for its specific purpose. So if you're going to buy this Bible, I'll put a link in the description, both to Amazon and Christian Books and Lifeway. I'll put to all three. I would recommend that you pick this up and whatever. This hardcover with the cloth over board is going to last a long time, and it's going to be something that you can throw in a bag, take with you, rough and tumble if you're that kind of guy. But I recommend this for anybody who wants to know a little more about what being a godly man looks like. As always, remember to keep the main thing the main thing. Jesus is the way, the truth, and life. He is the only way to the Father. He is the only name by which man must be saved. And this book is not this Bible. The Bible, which is a book, is not about you. It's about Christ. It is about sorry, bad word. It is about the redemptive story of the fall of humanity and God making a way for his creation to be reconciled to him, and shows our need for Jesus all along the way. So, picking up a Bible, we're looking for Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. So have a great day, and I hope to see you in the next one.